Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Hey, Patronies. Bonus ep for you guys.
Oh, you sons of bitches.
We're going to do Defenders Part 2.
You Patronies. Yeah, so Chris and I both finally watched every episode of The Defenders.
Yes, all 8 of them.
All 8 in this jam-packed series. And I loved it.
It was really fun.
I mean,
was.
It's I'm going to bring it up here, man.
What's interesting is as you're watching it, you know, the weakest part is still Finn Jones of Iron Fist. You're like, you know, oh yeah. All the other ones had such great shows and they were so well cast. And then there's Iron Fist. He's still like, he's the weak link out of the 4.
Yeah, but it wasn't as glaring in this.
It was not.
Because
the other 3 were in it.
Right. Just because I think, too, so much of his story was focused on Colleen Wing, which I really love her character a lot.
Right.
And she's a really good actress, and so it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think within the context of the whole story they were telling and all of them coming together, I think it made sense. And also, too, I liked how they're just like, you know, shut up, rich kid. Like, who the hell are you? And he sort of had to come to grips with that fact, you know, and own that and deal with it. That it didn't stand out to me as...
It wasn't as glaring.
No, it wasn't as glaring.
It was definitely, you know, it's also like... It's not the easiest thing. It's like an Avengers movie. You know, you have a lot of moving parts and you always have to have, you know, something for each hero to do. It's, you know, it's actually easier to focus on one, like Daredevil or Jessica Jones. But when you put them all together, there has to be a reason, for them all to be together. And also, you know, there also has to be something for everyone to do. So I felt like in that regard, they did a good job. The only like, you know, that obviously wasn't perfect. I had some problems with it. One of the things that I didn't like as much, like I was always a fan of the character Stick from the Daredevil comics. Right. Like as the mentor, he was gruff, but he was also, you know, a force for good. I felt like they just pushed him a little too far. Like, you know, can we do spoilers? We'll do spoilers
of
since
course.
we've seen it.
This is a Defender spoiler.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the series, we're going to
like when he was pretty much knocked out Luke Cage and he was going to kill Iron Fist. Like, I felt like the Stick from the comic book wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, they made it more that did bother me. I like Scott Glenn. I think he's great, and in how that character was written in terms of his character, I thought Scott Glenn was really good. But I did agree with, like, well, they're making Stick to just be full bad guy almost.
Right.
Like such a zealot that he's, you know.
He's kind of, you know, he's just as bad as they are now.
Yeah, he's past the League of Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but knowing their end game of blowing up the whole city into that crazy crypt
that had the dragon bones in it.
That had the dragon bones in it. I mean, he's kind of justified in his actions.
At least in his mind.
His mind. Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, he's a man willing to do what it takes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Regardless of the cost.
All right. Yeah, someone doesn't want to play the tough score.
Now, just to be clear, so I understood, this was a little, I wanted to make sure I got this. Whenever they were referring to the substance, that's the substance that gives the hand eternal life.
Right.
Was it dragon bones? Because at the end they were cutting up the bones, and it looked like that's what they were using.
Yeah, it was like the bone marrow or something.
Something inside the dragon bones, and you know, it was never explained how one got under New York. But
the dragon bones.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Magical dragon bones got under Manhattan.
Right, and then they talked about how Iron Fist got his powers by punching a dragon in the heart. They made allusion to, well, wait, was this the same dragon? Was this a different dragon? You know. Years ago, there were these magnificent beasts roamed the land. You know, that little speech by one of the hand people. So the substance was like, oh, that's a lot of substance, a lot of dragon bones here in the way under New York.
Well,
how do you search for dragon bones?
Wow,
by the way,
what is the app for dragon bone searching? I think. I want to talk about the ending. So. Daredevil and Elektra die, and she's sort of that's the dilemma of, and this was I liked it. I thought it was very interesting because her and Daredevil's love, and the hand turns her, they kill her, and they resurrect her, and she's just pure evil or whatever. But then she starts to kind of figure out who she is,
right?
And you're not quite sure, in a good way. Is she doing the hand's bidding? Is she still in love with Matt Murdock?
Or is she just kind of on her own side now?
Or, yeah, she just like a little nuts, or like. And that was sort of revealed at the end. She's like, that fight scene in the dragon cave was
right.
I loved that. It was
that
like
was
they
fun.
Loved each other and were kicking each other's asses. It was like,
well, one of the things that's alluded to in the Iron Fist series is that when you get brought back by this process, you're never the same.
Right.
Like, and then if you keep dying and coming back, you literally start to lose your mind and you get worse and worse.
Right.
So I think that was definitely. Part of it when we saw Elektra coming back, even as her memories were coming back, you realize, well, she's still never going to be the same. But I thought that was cool the way that it did kind of go back and forth. Like you weren't sure, well, is she getting her memories back? Is she going to kiss Matt Murdock? Is she going to try to kill him? Is she going to do both? And then, of course, at the end, everything collapses, but then Daredevil survives. We don't know what happened to Elektra.
Well, yeah, you knew. I was like, there's no way they killed Daredevil.
Right. They need another season at least.
And then they just show him in this convent hospital or whatever, somewhere in Manhattan.
being tended to by his mom.
Right.
Because that's, they reference the comic book. The name of the nun that's his mother is Maggie. And then they reference that in the show at the end.
Oh, see, that's awesome. And then we never see Elektra's body.
No.
Because you want them to get together. You want that. Like, I was
and
like.
Also, she's surrounded by dragon marrow substance that can bring you back.
Right. I feel like she probably broke off a bone and.
Chewed on it or
chewed
something.
On a little bit and then got out of that explosion. So I like the ending that Daredevil is being cared for by his mom. We don't know what happened to Elektra, and the Defenders are like, all right, now we're legit. And
in the comic book too, the Defenders have pretty much a rotating roster, just the way the Avengers do. But what I really liked about it was the interplay between the four characters, because they hadn't necessarily met before, with the exception of Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. So you wanted to see that. The thing that was interesting is that, and this is just the way it played out, Daredevil was the only one with a costume. Because really, Luke Cage and Iron Fist, they have costumes. Jessica Jones, I'm not so sure. I think the backstory now, our Patreon fans can correct me if I'm wrong, but the story of Jessica Jones was that at some point she was a costume vigilante, but then she things went south and she gave it all up and started Alias Investigation. So I don't know if there's some kind of costume in her past that she doesn't pull out, or if she never actually had one. But
now she just dresses like one of the Ramones.
Yeah, exactly. She's got the leather jacket and jeans.
I like Kristen Ritter. I like the character of Jessica Jones. The only thing, and maybe this is just my impatience, but her character is just constant. I don't want to be I don't want to be a hero. I don't want to do this. I don't want to. Just like, shut this. Enough with the goth.
With the
girl.
reluctant hero.
Yeah, I got it. Like by this point, you should be all in.
Right.
You don't
have much choice at this point.
I get the reluctant hero thing gets old for me real quick.
It's good to start.
Yeah.
And that's like classic Joseph Campbell, hero's journey type stuff. But at some point, you get over it and you go on the hero's journey.
Right. And I would love to see her, because I like Kristen Ritter so much, and the Jessica Jones character and her history and backstory is so intriguing. Like, we need to get the fuck past that. I want to see what this new level of her, what her arc is, what her new character, or not new character, but what her new view is going to be. Obviously, there's always going to be some cynicism and snarky remarks, which is fine. That's her character or whatever. But I need more, because I'm still she would not still be this I'm out of here. Like, I was like, shut up. I was dealing with a fucking teenager. It was annoying.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That was the problem I had with her series altogether.
Right.
She just never got over it.
I know, and it just got old.
Yeah.
I mean, there was interesting stuff.
Was that the one you skipped over? Did you see Jessica Jones?
Yeah, I watched Jessica
Oh,
Jones.
you did?
I
Okay.
watched all of it, and she just needs to, if when she comes back, like she needs to just shut the fuck up and embrace the hero thing and do it, and be the badass that she is versus the fucking crybaby goth girl. Let's just like grow the fuck up. I don't care, you know.
Move it forward.
Move it forward, man. Great villains, Sigourney Weaver.
She did a really nice job. I really felt like she was a good choice. There was definitely some interesting things to her character, like, you know, when you look at what the 5 fingers of the hand, and each character was a little bit different and a little defined in a different way. Whereas, you know, she's getting up there. We're not going to see elaborate martial arts fights with Sigourney Weaver, but, you know, she held her own for sure.
But that was the cool thing. They did that well. So also the woman Wai Chung Ho, who played, you know, she plays Madame Gao.
Madame Gao, right.
She has a fight scene, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like got a cane, and she just walks in there and just like throws her chi at whatever.
Right.
Like
She's got Yoda power.
she's got total Yoda power. She's got, you know, dark Sith Lord power.
Right.
Because she's part of the hand, and that was great. And that was also what was cool in sort of the arc of the hand characters is they're so powerful, they're so sinister, they've been around forever, but we start to see their real fear. They're scared. They're scared of dying. They're scared of losing everything.
Yeah, we've been alive this long. We don't want to die now. We're out of dragon bone marrow.
Yeah, exactly. So like, and all
Use the rest of it on Elektra. Then they got pouty.
Yeah, they got pound. I mean, it was like that was really kind of intriguing because it wasn't the typical sort of supervillain gang infighting,
Right.
you know. So that was I really like that. I mean, Sigourney Weaver as a supervillain is great, and you know, there was a lot of cool things. Obviously, Rosario Dawson, I love her character. I love how she just sort of her character accepts.
She's the only one in every single series.
She's in every series, and she just accepts. Okay, you guys, I know you got to do these crazy fights, but all right, you know, like.
Well, her character, I believe, is the night nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's and she's a character from the books where basically she patches up superheroes, right?
Yeah.
When they get all busted up.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, there was a little much with her and the morality, like her trying to be the moral center of the group and trying to be like.
Yeah, that never really worked because
you know.
From her position of like, well, no, you patch up all these superheroes and you've got your own opinions on stuff. It's like her being like the moral compass or center. It doesn't always come off sincere.
It's fine individually, but there comes a. I mean, that's the thing that I again was frustrated with the series is like. There comes a time where the hand is out murdering everybody. You guys have to raise the stakes yourselves.
Right.
You have to start.
The building's empty, but just blow it up. It's just hand people in it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Colleen Wing running around with that sword that never comes out of the scabbard is a little strange.
Yeah.
It's like you're carrying around a piece of wood at that point.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's true. You want to see people sort of cut the bullshit. Like this is like these.
Let's
guys,
maim some people, at least.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you, the actor that played Bakudo, what was his name?
Oh, yeah, he was good.
He was
Ramon Rodriguez.
Not only was he he had a good presence on camera. I felt like he was a really good martial artist. Like his moves, especially, I think also because Finn Jones was so sloppy. When you see the really good martial arts artists next to him, they look even better and make him look even worse.
Finn Jones had a 6-week crash.
Had a crash course,
just
yeah,
to do Iron Fist, and that's the only martial arts training he's ever had.
Right, where the rest of them, they're like, no, I've been training for 10 years.
Well, that's the thing. If you look at some of their IMDb, like the woman Elodie Young who plays Elektra, she started studying karate when she was she grew up in France, and she's been studying.
They don't have karate in France.
Yeah.
It's called karate.
Yeah, there you go.
Karate.
Yeah, she is she's Cambodian and French, and she grew up in Saint-Ding in Le Bourget, and where she practiced and attained her black belt. She has a black belt. It's obvious
Yeah.
that she has a black belt. And she, and then she studied acting at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts. So you can tell, like, that's why she is such a great Electra, is because this actress knows how to fight and is a great actress and knows how to do all that stuff. So that's really good. I just really think, we've talked about this a lot, but I think it was miscast.
Yes.
Previously.
For Iron Fist.
Oh, okay.
She's great. And again, when you put these other really good actors next to her, when you put Charlie Cox, when you put Mike Calter, like they're really strong.
Right.
Kristen Ritter, they're really strong at what they do. They're good at martial artists. They're good at action. They know their character. To then put this kid in there, you're sort of just like.
And Luke Cage, you don't need a lot of martial arts. The whole point is that he's a tank.
Yeah, he's just right.
He's just going to throw people around.
He's big and he's made of steel, and he's just going to punch your face in.
Right.
And
you're never going to see him do a sidekick.
No, he doesn't need to do. He doesn't need to do one. But also too, Jessica Henwick, who plays Colleen Wing, she's from Game of Thrones, and she's done a lot of different stuff. She's also from the UK, and you can tell she studied a lot of martial arts.
Right.
And so I think that's. But again, this is in this Defenders group, Iron Fist is way more palatable.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Because everyone just kind of lifts him up a little bit closer to their level.
Yeah.
But any time there was a Daredevil alone talking to someone, I was like, God damn it, I love Daredevil so much more than all this.
Yeah, Daredevil's.
Like, made me want to rewatch the first 2 seasons of his show.
Well, it's also great. The guy that plays Foggy is really good. Deborah
Yeah.
Ann Wool that plays Karen Page, she's really good. Like, their dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
She loves him, wishes he wouldn't be Daredevil. He has to be, like, that dynamic is really cool.
And the first time he fights, he puts on Jessica Jones' scarf on his head.
Yeah, it was.
So funny. That was funny.
That was great. I mean,
he's the only one that's like doing like secret identity cut type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're in the, and that was funny when they're like, really, the scarf, like that was hilarious. So that was cool. That dynamic, that scene in the Chinese restaurant, where they sort of are standing together, forming the Defenders right there at that time, I really liked. But I don't know. What else? What else do you guys think about this series? Where do you see it go next?
Well, I think they're all going to get their own individual seasons again. I think.
Yeah.
We'll see about Iron Fist, but Daredevil's going to get another season. Luke Cage is going to get another season. Jessica Jones is going to get another season. Will there be another Daredevil, another Defenders crossover? Maybe. Who knows? It depends how the ratings are, and how much Netflix wants to invest. Because you also have the Punisher spinoff coming up too.
Mm-hmm.
Punisher's coming,
which looks absolutely brutal. Did you see the new trailer?
No.
Yeah, the new trailer is it's almost what somebody called it gun porn. So I mean, it's really brutal.
I think.
But it's the Punisher. You expect it to be brutal.
Right.
It's exactly what it's going to be.
Punisher should be brutal, and I'm blanking on that actor's name that they cast. I think is
John Bernthal.
Yeah, John Bernthal is a good choice for the Punisher, because the Defenders can, I used to collect that comic as a kid. Can be any number of people.
Right.
I think it gives Netflix the leeway to sort of say, as this Marvel universe grows on our channel, we can make the Defenders anyone. You know what I mean? Like, we can, and why not? They could just do something really cool of sort of test market some new Marvel character and just put them in the next season of the Defenders, and if it bites, go, all right, we'll
give them a season.
We'll give them a season.
Series, rather.
So
they can Cousin Oliver it.
Yeah, they could totally Cousin Oliver it, and they could bring in. I mean, they could bring.
Because I don't know if that was like, well, we'll introduce the Punisher and then we'll give him his own series. I don't know if that, or I think it might have been more. Well, let's introduce the Punisher and see how it does, and then we'll see about giving him his own series.
Yeah, and you could also, if you wanted to bring big crossover in from the Marvel Universe, you could, into the Defenders series. You could do something really cool like that.
Yeah, you definitely could. You also wonder, too, like, Avengers Infinity War, like, are you going to see little cameos from some of these other characters? Like, because they're literally throwing everyone into these movies. So anything's possible because you've got, you've added Spider-Man, but that's what these big comic book crossovers were just when you're reading the books. You would have these events that would cross over to every book and every issue. And it's following that structure, which is great, which is fun. So even if like you see maybe like there's a big attack coming on New York, let's just say in the new Avengers movie, and then you get like one shot of Hell's Kitchen and like Daredevil saving somebody, like stuff like that. Those Easter eggs are just always fun.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. I'm sure it's being talked about in Marvel Studios right now.
What do you want to see, Aaron?
God, I just want to see more Daredevil. I don't know. To me, that's just been the most satisfying of any of these. I feel like all of them are maybe 2 episodes too long.
A little bit stretched out.
Yeah.
Daredevil's always been my favorite as far as all the characters go, too.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones I wasn't even familiar with until the series.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, again, like it just got maybe 1 or 2 episodes where it's just like, okay, I mean, we keep alluding to David Tennant, like let's get him in here. Let's get Kilgrave in here.
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think? What do you think's the future of Netflix and the Defenders? What do you think they're thinking about?
Well, just like I was saying, I think I think we're gonna see some characters we've never seen before.
Right.
I think we're gonna see some. I'm wondering if they're gonna use Defenders. Now I know there's talk like the I forget the names, but like the movie universe and the TV universe are not gonna cross over.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they just allude to them, but you don't really see them cross over. The other thing is you don't really see is, the network TV universe doesn't really cross over with the streaming
Right,
TV
like
universe,
Agents of
like
S.H.I.E.L.D.
and even Agent Carter. I mean, you don't really see them connect with like Daredevil or Jessica Jones or any of those. Like out of all of the Defenders and even the individual shows, no one even mentioned S.H.I.E.L.D. So you really see that they're keeping them separate for sure.
I wonder if they're gonna change that.
Possibly.
And I wonder. I mean,
they mention the incident.
They always mention the incident, so I'm wondering: are we gonna get like a Captain America cameo on one of these Defenders or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Why not?
1 episode.
That was the coolest thing about comic books is when you would get those crazy crossovers.
Right. Yeah, you get a guest star.
Yeah, you get a guest star. So why not have an episode where that needs to happen? So I don't know. That's what I want to see.
That's a question for the branding department.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's guys that have definitive yes or no's that make those decisions, and they're all in branding.
My fear is, and Marvel's been pretty good at this, but my fear is that I don't want it to just keep. They keep sort of redoing it. It hasn't happened yet, at least for me, but I don't want, and so I'm worried that they might do that, and that's the thing.
Well, it's always a fear, and it's always a possibility because the more you expand the universe, the more heroes you get. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, when you're introducing the heroes, it's like superhero, origin story, villain, resolution. And so you're going to need to see this basic formula kind of change a little bit.
I'd like to get some more villain origin stories. I'd like to get more background on where the villains came from.
Right.
Which to me is always like, what creates a villain? How did they get created?
Yeah, that's what was so great with Daredevil season 1 was Kingpin's origin. And I mean, I would love, if you're going to redo anything, I want to see him come back. See Vincent D'Onofrio back in that role.
Yeah.
He just nailed it.
Well, he didn't die.
Yeah.
No, he's in jail.
He could definitely come back. He unleashed the Punisher.
There's a spot open in the hand.
Yep. There's at least 4 spots open.
Yeah, they need a whole new hand. Yeah, and I think the one thing I will say too that they did a good job of is the hand they kept alluding to the hand, and then they slowly brought us into it and gave us more information and met more people with the hand, and that I really liked.
Right.
that I really thought was cool. So,
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else?
That's it. I think we covered it.
This ever drive you guys nuts throughout the entire Iron Fist Defenders? Is the way he says Kunlun. I mean,
it kind of bothered me the way everyone said it.
Yeah. Not just him, but he said it obviously every 30 seconds. It feels like.
I really want to just see. I want to see a Colleen Wing series. That's what I want to see. I really want to see more of her, and
I guess in the comics she teams up with the Night Nurse, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, and they allude to her. Yeah. The hand messed with her or something. Like they really alluded to that. And I was like, whoa, where's that? Tell me that story. Also, yeah, I'm excited for next season.
She didn't think the hand was that bad.
Yeah.
At first when she was under Bakudo.
Yeah. They're like, maybe they're doing some good.
Yeah.
It's like League of Shadows. Like, you know, maybe.
It's like look at this beautiful campus.
Yeah. They're helping some people.
Yeah, this is like Apple or Google.
Yeah.
Just don't go into that one. Don't go into that building. It's the armed guards.
All right. Well, that's it, guys. Patrons, supporters, thank you so much for supporting.
Thank you, guys.
The show.
Yes, we couldn't do it without you.
More bonus stuff. We love giving you guys bonus content. It gives us an excuse to talk about Netflix that we can't talk about on the regular show. And of course, more Neil T Weekly every week. So.
Yep.
And we'll have the video on this released, the whole
You'll
thing.
get that in the Patreon tier too.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt. Thank you to Marvel and Netflix.
Keep making good content.
Keep making good content.
And we'll keep watching it.
We will absolutely keep watching it. We'll keep talking about it. My name is Graham Elwood.
And I'm Chris Mancini. And as always, remember,
Han shot first.